Nauta goes in motion left, snap it to Michelle. He's running to the left, angling, 25-20. Got a block from Grum, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Dogs win it. We're headed to Atlanta.
Welcome back to the Damn Good Dawgcast. I'm your host, Robert Reynolds. Already got a couple guests for the G-Day special. Obviously, every dog fan knows tomorrow is G-Day. Got Mr. Ratledge here, Dean Ratledge himself, and Greg Vandergriff. I think everybody is aware they're the father of, so don't need to explain that. Welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
Me too. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, obviously, I think the biggest topic of the day is G-Day being tomorrow. I'm assuming y'all are going to be there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I heard that. Now, no, I'm not going to be able to. I'm actually up in North Carolina. I got some stuff. I will be watching, however. So, obviously, there's a couple guests that we're still waiting on. So when they come in, they'll pop them up. But nonetheless, I guess let's go ahead and talk some G-Day. Dean and Greg, I know y'all went to several before. I know at least, Greg, you're right there in Athens or Bogart outside of Athens. So I guess for anybody that's never been, right, just in case they're listening and never been, what is a G-Day experience like from your perspective?
Well, it's going to be funny. This will be my first game. I don't know how much you know our background. I'm from Knoxville, and my wife went to Auburn, so neither one of us are rolling over to Georgia too many times. So we are actually thrilled to be there with our son and thrilled to watch it.
Right. Well, I'm a Tennessee fan myself, or I was. We've been to the last 2 or 3. Tate wanted to go to all of them. So was it the one 2 years ago when the place was just packed out? I think that was a pretty awesome experience. So, but I used to go to these things back in the day when Eric Russell and them was there. I'm telling you how old I am now. They used to have these things connected with the coaching clinics and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I've been to a few back then, but I've been to the last 2 or 3. So, yeah, it's big time. It's a good time.
Yeah, well, I know, Greg, you said this will be your first one, and I think some of that can play into the COVID experience, right? Brock and that class of 2021, they didn't really get obviously the dead period kind of shut down any kind of recruiting in regards to taking officials and things like that. Dean, I think Tate was able to, this was before the pandemic, so he could actually go and take unofficials and officials, things like that.
Yes.
Greg, my question to you is obviously, Brock's senior year, like I said, the dead period kind of cut down these recruiting visits. What was that like? Because, that's definitely out of the norm for a typical recruiting cycle. What was that like trying to navigate through that?
Well, fortunate for us, Brock was recruited early on, probably a lot like Tate. He was identified as late in his freshman year and sophomore year that he was going to be a high recruit. So we sort of started his sophomore year getting ahead of it, trying to get out there and try to figure out who we liked. And, we had narrowed it down really to Oklahoma, Georgia, and Florida. We felt like they did the best job with what Brock did, those kind of things. And so he committed, I think around January 19th. Mm-hmm. So we still had a month really before COVID hit and closed everything down. But, so the good thing was we knew where we were going. The bad thing is we didn't get to do all the nice stuff that visits, the whining and all that kind of stuff that you get to do to, really get loved on by the school you're going to. So that part wasn't awesome. But again, we were glad at the end of the day, glad to play high school football and glad to get over there in January.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know I think every Dog fan, when Brock decommitted from Oklahoma, I think every hair on every Dog fan's neck and everywhere just kind of stood up and was like, "Is this it?" So, and obviously, as a fan's perspective, when I heard that, I just knew. I was like, "Oh, is this it?" And that's all I could think about. And then obviously, after New Year, when he committed, obviously this was pre-COVID, so we were super excited because from what I've kept up with, Brock's a pretty good advocate in regards to recruiter. He's going to recruit those guys. So with that situation hit, it was definitely one of those things where I think every Dog fan was kind of relieved because I know obviously having an elite quarterback in the class is key really to a good recruiting class because, I mean, the quarterbacks kind of recruit themselves, right? The elite players want to come play. So, that was kind of one of those things where we were all just super excited. And kind of going over here to Dean, when Tate committed, right? We, looking from a fan's perspective, honestly kind of nervous a little bit leading up to it because I know the Tennessee ties there and kind of up in North Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. You obviously had some solid ties there to Tennessee. So when he committed, it was interesting to see you because I remember you had to pull the old Tennessee logo off and put the Georgia one up there. So I know that had to feel a little bit different for you.
I don't know. Tate brought that up if I was going to keep that T on my truck. And I said, no, if you don't commit to Tennessee, I'll take it off. And I had no idea that camera crew was out in the parking lot. I just walked out and said, well, might as well get it now. So I jerked it off and they had it on film. I'm like, my God. So, Coach, I'm from Athens, Tennessee. Yeah. So, he's from Knoxville. We're about 50 miles apart. But
he went to Dean. I actually went to Tennessee Wesleyan back in the day.
Did you really?
Yeah, which is in Athens. Yeah, crazy.
Oh, yeah. That's right there. I love that. But I knew for months where Tate was going to go, so there was no pressure on us. Looking back, maybe he shouldn't even have, had the Tennessee hat on the thing. I think he did that for my family and other people more than anything. But could have been a good idea, could have been a bad idea. I don't know. But I'm gonna tell you what. Now I got my hind end roasted on the internet by my Tennessee people over that.
I was about to say, as Georgia fans embraced you. I mean, I did. I know.
Oh yeah. It's always been his choice. I said, son, you got to go where you want to go, and he loved Georgia, wanted to go there, and of course Sam Pittman had a lot to do with that. So
yeah. I think what was interesting about the Sam Pittman situation was. Obviously, shortly after Tate had committed, Sam left to go take the head coaching job down in Arkansas. And
it was actually
if you've paid attention,
before.
Yeah, so
he was going to commit on a Friday, and Coach Pittman called Tate and told him he was leaving on Sunday before.
Yeah, so that was a big deal, obviously, because as a recruit, I can only imagine. Obviously, I'm not. I'm just your average Joe, basically. But, for me, I could imagine it being difficult, if Sam was kind of recruiting him heavily. But if I'm not mistaken, Sam told him that he felt like he should stay with the commitment with Georgia.
He did.
Which you don't really see that, which kind of shows you the character for Sam himself. So, yes. That was something as well. And really, when we heard that Sam took the Arkansas job, you started to really kind of get nervous about your offensive line haul. Because at the time we had a lot of good players in there. We knew it was going to be a good class. And, Sam kind of like stung a little bit. But, I know I forgot one of Braun, he left for Florida. I remember that. He was the only commit to basically back off and go to elsewhere. But everybody else stayed. And so it was kind of interesting to see that. I know I was biting my nails for several days really after that until we hired Coach Luke. So I was nervous about that.
Right. Well, at one time, sorry, Murphy.
You're fine.
At one time, I thought Tate would probably end up at Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
That's about the time Coach Key left to Georgia Tech, and Tate got a dosing because I'd been preaching to him about you got to do this for the school and the community and where you'd like to be, whether you're playing or not, and all of that, and not let personalities get into it. That's really hard on those kids not to let that happen. But when Coach Key left Alabama, that rang true. So, and Coach Pittman called him that Sunday night and told him he was going to Arkansas. And, Tate and him had talked about him, whether he was going to leave Georgia or not. And, and Coach Pittman told him at one time, he said, The only place I would leave here for is Arkansas. But then he told Tate, what the chances of that happening this late in my career? And I'll be dead blamed if it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So, him and Tate had a good cry, and I cried, and everybody cried. But it was.
I could only imagine that being a tough thing because you build those relationships so much, and the coaches recruit present the school to you and things like that. So, when you come to find out that, he leaves now, obviously Sam, I think he took a dream job.
He did.
Listening to his press conference. You can't be mad at that, right? I don't think a lot of Georgia fans either were mad about that. It stung, but I don't think he was mad. So from there, it stung for sure. And I could imagine it being difficult, but I felt like Coach Luke I'm assuming here, once we hired Coach Luke, he came in pretty quick and started to build those relationships and, from a higher up standpoint, kind of basically salvage, the relationships and make sure that guys stayed, kind of bringing it a little bit out of the personal realm here. But, obviously it seemed like Coach Luke did a good job there. And, obviously it was after the season too, right in between the bowl games. So there wasn't a lot of time to really, do a lot of coaching, but you could see how Coach Luke was. And I know they're two different guys in regards to their personalities. It seems like Coach Luke's more, I don't know how you can explain it. He seems like he's more outgoing and more fiery, whereas Coach Pittman was kind of laid back. We were used to him being somewhat laid back. So,
Pittman's like me, if he moves too quick, he's going to hurt something. Coach Luke's a younger guy. He can bounce around and holler and scream. I'll go on. But he is. He's very energetic. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sure. So, Greg, back to your situation. I know, obviously, 2021 class, Brock enrolled early. Obviously, we know the quarterback situation. I don't really have to explain it. My thing is, for him, obviously, as an early enrollee, the main thing is to learn the offense. And I know it's going to be a different offense. Are you excited? I know you're G-Day. I'm sure y'all are going to be excited, but what's the most exciting thing that y'all are going to see tomorrow in regards to your son's plan?
We've been over the last two scrimmages. Dean, did you go to any of the scrimmages last two?
Yes, sir. I've been to both of them.
Okay, we went over the last two scrimmages, and just to be very honest, you're going from playing high school football to learning an NFL, scheme, and it's like going from, again, first grade to trying to go figure out some chemistry or something. And so, just I asked Brock one thing when he went to Georgia. I said, look, I just want us to eat breakfast or lunch once a week, and I just want to check in with you. And so just listening to him and talking to the coaches, it's a thing where he's got a lot to learn. It's they signal 6 things on every play. He's got to know all 6 of them. The first week he didn't even know the direction of the play. He didn't know, who's going in motion. So, just him going out and having some success, being relaxed. That's really all we're looking for. I mean, we're not expecting any miracles tomorrow. We're not expecting anything crazy. We just want him to go out there, get 15, 20 plays, however many, and just know what to do on those 15 or 20 plays. Really, that's
No, I know it's going to kind of a little backstory here. Like, I was a quarterback in high school as well. Now, telling you, here's how you can tell North Carolina ball is a little bit different than your Georgia ball. So when I was a quarterback back in 07, 08, we did the triple option, so it was a lot different. But looking at that right there, just kind of seeing, high school ball for me, it was kind of a certain speed, right? It was kind of fast, but for kids like Brock and everything at that level, it kind of comes easy. Now,
Sure.
Obviously, I think we know the transition to college, just from a perspective here, different, especially SEC ball, the speed of everything is just completely different. It's super fast compared to what he's in high school. So I think you're right there with just kind of learning the playbook is a big deal because everything's more, intricate and things like that. Let me stop for just a second. We have another guest popping in. Let me introduce Miss Traylee Hill. Hello there.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
Hello, how are you?
How is this connection though? Are we
It
good?
is. It's A plus for me. I see
Okay.
everything great. So
Okay. Good.
no, Trey. So we were just talking. Me, Dean, and Greg here. We were just talking about G-Day, and what were you most excited for in regards to your children playing? So with Keeley, I know last year he was sidelined for the season really with the labrum injury in his shoulder. Now you're looking at it where he's able to participate and everything like that. So with G-Day tomorrow, I know you're going to be there if I'm not mistaken.
Of
So
course.
what is your I guess you could say most anticipated thing for tomorrow for you?
I'm excited to see what our Bulldogs are going to do this season. I literally haven't seen my son play, on the field yet to date. So this will be my first time. So that's major exciting. As far as D-Day, I'm sitting here with my fingers crossed and with the highest expectations for our guys this year. And so I'm just excited to see what is going to come, what's going to unfold. I think this is our year. I know that we always say that, but I think this is it.
Trust me, hearing it from all these other fans, Georgia fans, you were absolutely right. And honestly, looking at the talent across the board, I feel like for me, my personal take on this is I feel like this is the best year to have it happen. With even with the injuries that we sustained so far, and obviously, I think the biggest thing for tomorrow, you come away with this win if everybody stays healthy, right? So. I think that's the biggest thing there, at least from my perspective, is I want to see us perform at a good level, but I also want to make sure that we stay healthy because, elite players, Tate, Keeley, Brock, elite players, but you can't showcase your talent if you're hurt. So that's the biggest thing, in my opinion, what I'm looking forward to. And I know when it comes to it, I know there's a lot of competition going on, right? So I know the offensive line is especially competitive this year, just from what I've been hearing and reading. And kind of just really the front five is unset right now. I think, and that's a good thing. I think that's going to make everybody better along the offensive line. And to Keely's point, in the secondary as well, you see a lot of competition there to kind of figure out who's going to fall into the starting role. So, obviously that competition is going to benefit everybody involved. But in that case, are we looking for the season? What are your predictions on our record? I just want to kind of get each person's opinion on a record out of the 12-game regular season. What are your expectations here?
Go ahead, Coach.
My opinion is, honestly, there's only 2 or 3 teams on the schedule that can realistically beat them. Now any Saturday we can beat ourselves, and and that's a thing where if we don't beat ourselves and people stay healthy, I think we have a chance to have a great year. But it's a thing where, again, we're parents and we're fans. It's hard to win it. It's hard to win it all. A lot of things have to happen. You got to stay healthy. You got to get breaks. And, it's just hard. I mean, but sort of like while we chose Georgia, we only felt like there's 5 or 6 teams that can really win it, with Georgia being one of them. So, I would be shocked if they're anything other than, 9-3 or 10-2 or better. But
yeah, I think from my standpoint, it's hard to, and I'll let everybody else speak afterwards. If you're not familiar with the ESPN FPI metrics, I don't know if you heard about this. They came out a couple of days ago, and they had Georgia projected to lose 3 games. In my opinion, I didn't see those 3 games. I genuinely believe the Clemson game on September 4th could be your real deciding, win or loss. If we win that game, that kind of from there really dictates the year. But if we lose that game, it could go either way on that game. But other than that, I didn't really see where the 3 losses were coming. But for me, I'm gonna say 11-1. I want us to beat Clemson, and if we do that, I think we still end up losing. It could be a 12-0 season, but for me, I just think that Clemson is gonna, even though they lost Trevor, they lost ETN as well. Clemson's still a really damn good team. And, it's going to be a challenge. There's no question about it. So I could see it being 11-1. If we beat Clemson, I think we literally go 12-0. So that's where I'm at. Dean, Traylor, what do you think?
I'm exactly where you are, actually. I'm thinking that if a school is going to give us a hard time, it's only Clemson, and it's only going to be because of us lacking experience on the field. So I think that hopefully everything will fall in line and we'll be able to hang in there halftime. And if we can do that, then I'm going to say 12, but 11-1, it would be Clemson. And again, only because of our experience or lack thereof.
Right.
Dean, what about you?
Well, Tate picked Georgia for a lot of reasons, but one was he wanted to be on a football team that could compete for a national championship. And there's not a whole lot of those around the country that have a realistic chance to be in that hunt every year. I think Georgia is one of those. Obviously, there's a couple of key games on your schedule each year that are pretty much must win if you want to be the champion. And if you slip up in another game, you put yourself in a bad place. But I think Georgia's very capable of having a great year. And like Coach said, you've been in there for a long time. One of the best football teams I ever coached in my life in high school went 5-5. And then one of the worst ones we had, we won the region with them. So, go figure. But I think Georgia will be 11-1 or undefeated. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think, looking at it, I could see right. Look, when I was looking at those metrics, I could see a possibility where they were coming with the second loss, right? I think obviously the outdoor cocktail party, right? The cocktail party is the game. Sure, we're playing Clemson, and that's going to be the biggest game of the year, regular season, no question. I think that's a unanimous consensus agreement. Outside of that, though, Florida is the game that every Georgia fan circles, and there's every reason why. Georgia obviously, slipped up and lost last year. And, obviously you have the injuries and, looking at that right there. But now you look at this situation where we have, JT coming in, which is basically Kirby's already said that he's a starter. And you look at that along with, the super loaded backfield. You look at your receiving core being really as deep as I've ever seen it since I've been really watching the Dogs. And you look at the weapons on the offense and really the defensive line. You look at just look at overall depth. Obviously, the questions being in the secondary, but I think the new hire, Coach Aday, and Kirby's going to have that secondary ready to go. So you look at that right there. I just don't see Florida coming close to beating us this year. Now, if I'm wrong, I will eat my crow. I get it. I just don't see that. Considering what they lost last year. So, you lose a lot of talent, Trask and Tony and Pitts, right? Pitts I have a feeling Pitts will be a top 5, no doubt. He's that good. But you lose all that talent, and you're kind of, where are you now? And I don't see Florida beating us. I just don't. So that's where I think my concern with the 3 losses, I see Clemson, but after that, considering this landscape of the SEC, I don't see it. But yeah, so I think we're all in agreement here. For the most part, you can see us losing 2 tops, but 11-1 sounds about what we're all in agreement with. Am I right there?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay hopeful and go 12-0, but
Hey, I'm sure no fan's going to turn that down.
Going to get it done this year.
Yeah. So yeah, anyways, kind of moving on to the G-Day experience, right? So from a recruiting standpoint, Dean, Trayley, I don't think y'all have ever met. Obviously, Keely and Tate were in the same class. I don't know if y'all as parents had ever met. Is that correct?
No, I haven't met her, no. I look forward to meeting you, though.
Yes, likewise.
I was going to say, hey, you're going to G-Day. All y'all are going to G-Day tomorrow, so I'm sure it'll happen. So,
right.
From that right there. But so when it comes to recruiting, obviously, as a fan, we wonder how these things go because, behind the scenes, y'all get to see things like that. What's it like on a visit, like G-Day, right? When you get to meet, all these elite players are together and, their families. What's that like from a parent, commingling with other parents? I mean, do y'all make friends? And obviously, like if other kids go other places, do y'all still stay in contact, or how does that go?
Well, I have for some of the guys that went somewhere else, but that group of kids that Tate was recruited with, the linemen, I got to know them. I got to know Kendall's dad, Chris, real well. A fantastic guy. I love him. He's a mess. But it seems like sometimes you just end up there in the same spot weekend after weekend after weekend with people, and then there may be others you only see once or something. You don't really have the time to sit down and build any kind of a relationship with it. But, me, I love people. So I just getting to meet everybody and Tate's like that too. He just likes everybody. So yeah, we had a great time. We had a great time meeting everyone and all that. Yeah.
I think Greg's the outlier here because, like I said, Brock's class had the displeasure of having the COVID kind of stop the officials and things like that. But that didn't stop, from having these guys come in on their own dime and do that kind of self-guided visit. Obviously not Tate, but Brock being so close, he could kind of do that. So, as a parent for him, what was that like when you saw all these guys, coming in their own dime to Athens? And it seemed like, if I'm not mistaken, y'all kind of hosted everybody and kind of did that kind of visit that way. At least that's what I'm taking out of it. But, that was a pretty cool gesture in my opinion.
I appreciate it. It was obviously something different, where none of us sort of knew what to expect, with COVID. And, again, as a parent, you're trying to get your kid to the right school. And I know all these other people, like the Bowers, for example, they came out on their own, trying to check out what's going on. And, the NCAA is not allowed, theoretically, those guys to meet, any coach, anything like that. And so now, correct me if I'm wrong, G-Days, like, they can't host recruits this weekend.
It's open to, so if I'm not mistaken, it's open to the public, but the players, they do get, if I'm not mistaken, they do get parents tickets, things like that. But outside of that, they opened, I want to say 20,000 tickets to the general public. Typically they were holding season ticket holders, things like that. Going inside of it, knowing some people that are season ticket holders, people had the option for the Vanderbilt cancellation. To hold on to those tickets or whatever. They made sure that those people that that obviously missed that game were taken care of. So they offered the tickets there, and then mostly season ticket holders. That's not going to stop people from kind of buying and selling things like that. I get it, but if I'm not mistaken, I think kids might be having to actually sit there and buy the tickets themselves.
Yes, see that was what was the situation last fall. Like, see, we're still under that situation where they can't host. So, like, again, when Keely and Dean and myself would go as a family to a game, you're getting hosted. Well, that's still not, right now. So, all that experience is still on the parents' dime, so to speak. And, so again, it's people like Dean and Keely that, we have to reach out to those parents, and we have to, love them into the Georgia family and do our part as well to help recruit those people in. Because obviously, if we want to win, we want our sons around, the right kind of players, the other kids that, they want to win, and they're going to come do the right kind of stuff.
I mean, you couldn't have said it better there. And I've wholeheartedly believe that the Georgia, Dawg Nation is about as tight as you're ever going to see anything from a fan base. I personally believe that. And I've seen it a lot of times. So I have 100% confidence that Dawg Nation is the best fan base there is. No question about it. I want to talk to Trayley for a second. So we're talking about visits, everything like that. The funny thing is you kind of made history here. Everybody, I don't know if you remember this, Dean or Greg, there was a picture of Keely and Trayley with a certain live animal, the snake picture that went viral. It's interesting that the NCAA made a rule kind of stopping that a couple weeks after. That's where the history kind of played in there. What was that? What were your thoughts about that when it happened? Because I don't think Keely expected that.
Keely knows that that's something that I would do. So I think that when he saw the snake, he probably thought that we're going to be posing with with it, and we did. He's scared of him. Obviously, he took off in one of the videos.
Yep, that was the picture that went viral.
Literally was holding it and just kind of, like moved a finger, just barely flinched, and he was gone. His dreads were they caught the motion perfectly. Anyway, that was the funnest day. It was a scavenger hunt. It was after a scavenger hunt, and I'm not sure. Yeah, and I think it was over G Day. I'm so thankful that I was able to have that awesome G Day experience. I was able to meet coaches, defensive staff in particular, Dan Lanning at the time, Charlton Ward was there, Nick Williams, who played a huge role in our recruitment. I got to see these coaches and these guys that are going to take my son under their wing. As a parent, we're essentially dropping our children off with these men that we don't know to finish raising them, and guide them and mold them into who they're going to become ultimately. And I just was super pleasantly surprised with everyone's personality, all of the coaching staff. They're a bunch of big kids. We had a blast on that scavenger hunt, later followed by the G-Day activities, which is a slip and slide. I ran and went head first right next to Kirby.
Yeah, I was about to say Kirby doing that. It's interesting to see. I heard about it when it was going on, and it was funny. I don't think fans get to see that, but nonetheless, so it's a big recruiting weekend, right? So we know it's a big recruiting event, so we get hyped about it. And then obviously you have different platforms and stuff where you hear about what happened, because I'm not that person, but nonetheless, you hear about it, and it just sounds like it'd be a damn good time. And I think, to your point, though, like you were talking about having to, somewhat theoretically drop your child off. The 2020 class was really built around a lot of nationwide presence, right? Whereas 2021, 2022 class so far, you're starting to see a lot of Georgia-based, recruiting class. And I think that obviously the COVID situation is causing that, right? Before that, Kirby went out nationwide, obviously pulled Keeley from Arizona. Then you have Kendall from California, Darnell, Big O from Nevada. So you can see he went kind of nationwide there. But obviously you're starting to see a little bit in the 2022 class, going a little bit outside of the state of Georgia. But I genuinely believe that come June 1st, when the dead period is gone, I think that right there will be the moment when people will really just be flocking to schools and doing these officials. You see it on Twitter all the time, kids just posting up their official visit dates. And as a fan, I couldn't be more happy for them and their family, because it means a lot for them to be able to go out and do this. You kind of take it for granted until the COVID situation hit. So, I get excited when I see these things, even if it isn't to Georgia, because from a fan of college football, it's getting back to normal in regards to those visits. So, it kind of really sucks for, Brock's class that couldn't really do those final years, because your senior year, you're touring schools, I can imagine. And like you said, making sure that that's the school that you're choosing is the right one. So I'm kind of glad, what are y'all's thoughts about that, them opening up the dead period?
I think they should, sooner than later. That I think it's horrible that these kids are not going to have the opportunity that I have, or the children are not going to have the opportunity that my son had. The parents to view and experience school as in depth as I did, with multiple visits, etc. I don't know how these children are making their decisions just off of very limited information. I feel bad is going on for them right now. I can't wait for everything to get back to normal.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's gone actually way too long, to be honest. If fans can come and watch a game or whatever, there's no way parents couldn't have gotten tested or something where they could have stood up across the room from each other, at the University of Georgia, and had visits, with some restrictions or some guidelines. But again, I understand the NCAA having to look at it with, we've got to be safe and careful and all that kind of stuff, and trying to stay out of litigation and whatever else could happen. But to me, again, like Trayley said, really the kid hurts. It hurts the recruitment of the kid, and for a lot of them, they can't make a real judgment. They're just trying to make the best judgment. So, they're not getting to see the great facilities of Georgia. They're not getting to see all the things that, we got to see and tour and be involved with. So I think opening up June 1st probably is a couple months too late, but I think it's awesome that it's happening.
Oh, I agree. Dean, what are your thoughts?
Well, I all of these big schools, they've got great facilities and, they have all that. I think it comes down, Tate wanted to get in business. He wants to be a business owner. And these kids that didn't get to come on visits and, they're not getting to talk to academic people. They're not getting to talk to professors. They're not getting to get into the curriculum of what's going on in their subject area. I think that's, it's a hard time in your life anyway, trying to decide what you want to do with the rest of your life. And you hadn't even really got started on it yet. And then to have to go in blind, not really knowing what to expect out of what's going to be expected out of you academically or, the things you have to do. I think that's pretty tough. So I really feel for these kids. My daughter's a junior and, she's pretty decent. So, and she's not getting to talk to anybody or see anybody. And, it's just kind of, you're just kind of in limbo and you really don't know what to do. You want to try to make a decision, but you don't know what to, like Coach said, you're trying to make a decision and you just got to make the best one that you can, but it's really not a good informed decision because you hadn't had a chance to get out and research things.
Absolutely. So we've been going on for a good little bit. And so I wanted to bring up one final thing. Obviously everybody's excited for G-Day. I hope everybody has a great G-Day experience tomorrow. Greg, this is your first one. Hopefully it impresses. But I'm going to do a quick Q&A here called the fifth quarter segment. And it's basically just a couple questions here. I just want to kind of get a feel for you. So I'm going to start in this order. So from the camera angle, you got Dean, Greg, and then Trey Lee. So Dean, first question, and then I'll let Greg and then Trey Lee. What was your best memory from a visit to any campus, official or unofficial?
I think the thing that stuck out to me most was we was on the field before a football game. And as the Georgia Bulldogs was leaving the field, Kirby ran all the way across the field to speak to Tate individually before he went in. So that was pretty impressive, and I think it impressed Tate a whole lot. So
I can see why.
Yes.
Greg, what about you?
So this is going to be sort of funny or ironic. So I lived in Baton Rouge for 5 years, and we went down to, and one of Brock's best friends is an LSU fan. So we had an open date. We jumped in the car at 5 o'clock in the morning, drove down to LSU, went through the whole LSU experience. And the Johnsons are real good friends of ours, here in, obviously, in Oconee County. Okay. So with Max Johnson, they're real good friends of ours. So anyway, we go to the game, we went through Friday's practice and we went to Mobile, and it was the Georgia game. And, LSU won and the place went crazy and everybody went on the field and Brock went in the locker room like at the end of the game. And that place was a zoo. I mean, it was unreal. Just a great game day experience, And, but I told Brock, when Brock talked about how much he loved LSU, I said, that's awesome. But if the Johnsons go and we're family friends, we're not going down there and getting in the middle of that. And so anyway, it was a great game day experience. It was awesome. I mean, they just happened to beat Georgia that day, but we were trying to make a business decision. You know what I mean? It wasn't
absolutely. I can
our personal feelings. I mean, again, Brock grew up going to Auburn games. As a 6-year-old, he tackles Albie on the sidelines. You know what I'm saying? Because we got some sideline passes. So we had to take our heart out of it, and we had to make a business decision on what's the best place.
Trayley, best memory from a visit to any campus?
Definitely.
Official or unofficial?
Definitely the G-Day. Definitely the snake. It was a blast. again, I'm
I
so
can still visualize that in my head here.
Yes,
It's
we ran around and did a scavenger hunt before that. And so
yeah.
And so it was all around campus, and we teamed up with recruiters, and of course I was with defense. And so I was really thankful to have the opportunity to get to know these men who are going to be taking my son under their wing and holding him. Again, it was just a blast. It was informative. It was equally informative as it was fun. And I was able to meet everyone, and they made such a positive impression that we came back again.
Yeah.
There you go.
And again,
Dean, next question. Are you ready for this? This is going to hit home for you right here. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Describe this. Describe Tate's mullet. I need to see this thing.
It's beautiful. If I had any hair, I'd grow one.
You know.
No, he started growing that to aggravate my wife, because when he was here, she wouldn't let him do all this, and so he got out of the house. He said, "Mom, I'm growing a mullet," and there it is. But I don't have a problem with it, and she's good with it too. But hey, I told you I had to go to work. Let me say one thing real quick. Let me get out of here. I want to tell you the funny thing on Pittman one time. We was at Florida, and we're sitting there, and the game has started, and Tate gets a text from Coach Pittman, and it says, "What in the hell are you doing there? You are not going to go to Florida. Get in your car and leave." So I'll leave you with that. I got to go to work, and I look forward to meeting you guys, and Coach, I look forward to seeing you in a more friendly atmosphere.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Dean, thanks again.
Look forward to meeting you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
All right, Greg, what are your thoughts on the mullet?
Typical private school reaction. You know what I'm saying? He was at Darlington, just like my son. Private school, you got to have off the eyebrows, off the ears, off the collar your whole life. And then the minute you get out of the house, you're growing it out like no other, from facial hair to being a hippie. So that's what they're both doing.
Charlie, what are your thoughts? I can't I saw it on Twitter, and it's just one of those things that it gets instilled into your brain and it doesn't go away.
What's that? Which one?
Not Tate's
his
son Tate, his mullet. It went around Twitter.
Party. Business in the front, party in the back.
Hey, let me see if I can pull it. There we go. That's the picture. I tried to pull it up.
It's an older style, but it is. I don't doubt that it comes back. Everything is circulating and coming back. So that's his thing. He might be very well known for having this mullet.
I'm telling you right now, when I saw that on Twitter, immediately my head went, Billy Ray would be proud. And I had to tweet this out. That mullet is so beautiful that a country song is going to be written about it. I just feel it coming. The thing's beautiful. It's a cult following. I'm just going to leave it there.
If he would just get that perm like everybody else did back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, hey, Trayley mentioned it. Things are coming around full circle, so don't put it past it. It's coming.
Yeah. Everything's coming.
All right. Next question. Greg, so you've been to several colleges, I would assume. Yeah. What's your favorite college pregame entrance?
I like what Georgia does. I really like what Auburn does. I mean, I like their highlight thing that they do and the songs they play. I'm trying to think everywhere else. I mean, like Clemson was blah, Florida was blah, LSU's, okay, pretty good. I would say Georgia and Auburn probably do it the best for me.
Charlie, what about yourself? Do you have a favorite pregame entrance for any school?
I don't. I like Georgia. I like the way we do it. I like Georgia's. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with home.
I have when it comes to these questions here, I definitely have to take the Georgia hat off, and that's okay. Greg, I don't know if you've ever saw this or either one of you saw this, but back in the early to mid 2000s, when Virginia Tech was a powerhouse, if you ever watch their entrance before the guys run onto the field, where you have Enter Sandman and the stadium is just jumping, do yourself a favor and go to YouTube and just type in Virginia Tech entrance, and you'll understand. Just watching that, I've never been to Blacksburg, but watching that, it is intense. You get that feeling where, like, I'm not even a Virginia Tech Hokie fan, and you get hyped up. It's one of those things. So I would have to say that. Now, 2019, Georgia Notre Dame under the lights coming out, that had chills as well. So those are kind of like a 1A, 1B for me, but definitely the Virginia Tech is something you kind of want to check out.
Well, the environment, also creates the excitement. You know what I mean? So that Georgia, environment, you're already amped up. Can't wait for what's about to happen. So sort of like the light show at the end of the Georgia Notre Dame. I mean, for everybody that's a Georgia fan, that's iconic to them, when that light show happened.
I can't be wrong there. All right. Oh, I think this might have one last one here. Trayley, I know we've talked about this before. You might not have an answer to this, and that's okay. Greg, what is your favorite song that's kind of tied into a university? And kind of an example, Alabama's tied to Sweet Home Alabama.
Sure. All right, so there's a few of them. I do like, and it's not Teenage Wasteland, but it's the Who song.
Baba O'Reilly?
Yeah, that they play at Georgia. I love that song that they do. I like You Need to Be at LSU when Garth Brooks, they play Going to Baton Rouge. Or
Calling Baton Rouge?
Baton Rouge, they're singing it like crazy.
Yep.
I like, again, Auburn when they sing Living on a Prayer. Those are three really good experiences. I do like the sway of the Gators, but I just hate them. So, and then again, being from Knoxville, you can't leave Knoxville. It's like going to the World's Fair or going to Disney World and not singing It's a Small World 5,000 times. You can't leave Knoxville without humming it, even no matter how much you hate them.
Yeah, I know. A side story here. Went on vacation to Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge area, which is right like 15, 30 minutes away from Knoxville. All the Tennessee orange, you saw that, and Georgia's sitting there playing. I'm in Georgia stuff, so you already getting looks. And it's just funny because Tennessee was getting their tail beat and Georgia was blowing out a team. So I was watching this because I was in a store and they had the Tennessee game on and they were getting beat and these people weren't even turning the fan on. I just sat there and just looked and watched the game. I was like, well, y'all having a rough day, ain't you?
Oh, yeah.
But no, I think, Trayley, I don't think you have one.
Give me another question.
Okay. All right. So what is a math question here? What is 5 times 20?
Are you serious?
Hold on. Yes,
Oh.
I'm being serious.
A whole 100.
There you go. 100. So that kind of ties into my next thing here. So I've dealt with the 7-6 apparel company, and they have those donation shirts, the Team Trayley, and you saw it because I've posted. I've kind of been a very big advocate for that. I know they basically, if anybody's not familiar with that, Greg, the 7-6, they have a donation shirt, Team Trayley shirt. All proceeds of that shirt goes to Trayley's GoFundMe page, and it helps her with cancer treatments, as everybody knows she's going through that. So the 100 comes into play because after this goes off, I'm donating $100 to your GoFundMe, and I'm getting everybody a shirt that was on today.
Oh, that's awesome! Thank you.
Once you're in Dog Nation, always Dog Nation.
When the subject comes up, sorry, I get emotional.
No, that's okay.
I'm still going through it. I'll be done with chemo the end of July. And I'm ready for things to get back to normal coronavirus wise and with my health. With my health. I'm so surprised that that company did that. There's absolutely no way I'm going to be able to see anyone in that shirt and my makeup off. I'm probably going to bring a little bag to go and touch it up because just you even bringing it up, I could have got worked up. it's a big deal to me. I'm so thankful for the support that I've received from Dog Nation. I could have never imagined that this many people were going to care about me and my situation. It's a huge blessing, from the GoFundMe to the messages that I receive. And like you had mentioned, you've been in contact with me as well as a bunch of fans in Dog Nation and the dog family. And I look forward to meeting as many as I can on tomorrow. But yeah, I could have never imagined that I was going to receive this support. My care is at Cancer Treatment Centers of America, and everyone's kindness and generosity contributing to that GoFundMe is allowing me to receive that care.
Oh yeah, I apologize if I threw you on the spot there, but going through what you're going through, I've not personally, but I've dealt with it personally. So I understand how much support means. Watched it go through with my dad, aunts, stuff like that. So I understand the importance of a support system. So whenever there's a chance for me to kind of be an advocate there, I'm going to do that. If I can help in any way, I'm going to do that. So that's the reason for, the donation and things like that. It's not a good, it's a good deed, but I'm not trying to humble brag or anything. It's just, I genuinely care because it hits me different too. So, so that is that. And I think that is all the questions that I have for this fifth quarter segment. Y'all stumped me. I thought I'd stump you a little bit, but you kind of got me there.
Trayley, our prayers are your way. I had no idea. God bless you, and our prayers again from all the Van de Griffs. Okay.
Thank you so very much to the entire dog family. I am so thankful.
On that note, obviously, G-Day's tomorrow, 2:00. If anybody's listening and you don't know where to tune in, SEC Network Plus, that is where it will be streamed. So make sure you tune in on your TV. If you're at G-Day, go out to Greg, go out to Trayley, tell them, go dogs, right?
Dogs.
Yes, come find me. I've been vaccinated. I'm gonna have my mask on, of course, but
safety first. There we go.
Yep.
All right, Greg and Trayley, like I said, again, thanks for stopping by and having some good discussion here. Obviously, everybody's hyped about G-Day. So am I. I hope y'all have a great experience tomorrow. Greg, I hope you have a great first time there.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And Trayley, I know Trayley's going to have fun. That's just how she is. She's just going to have a blast anyway.
That's right.
So on that note, guys, like I said, thanks again for coming out. And on that note, catch the Damn Good Dawgcast on the next episode.
Sounds good. Go dogs.
Go dogs.
Bye-bye.
Ever since I started podcasting, I've used Buzzsprout, and let me tell you this, you cannot go wrong with Buzzsprout. The team at Buzzsprout is passionate about helping you succeed. One of the hardest things about creating and starting your own podcast is not knowing what to do. Buzzsprout, it's super easy. They will help you out in regards to what to do. Buzzsprout will get your show listed in every major podcast platform. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, you name it. Podcasting isn't hard when you have the right partners, and Buzzsprout is the best partner you could imagine. You'll get a great looking podcast website, audio players that you can drop into your other websites, detailed analytics to see how people are listening, and other tools to promote your episodes. And there's a lot more than just that. Join over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout to get your message out to the world. Follow the link in the show notes and let Buzzsprout know that we sent you. Get you a $20 Amazon gift card if you sign up for the paid plan, and it helps support our show.